Saturday, July 12th, and we hope everyone is enjoying their summer as much as we are here in the Berg.
We have our beautiful woodland setting behind us. It's like we're out in the forest.
Of course. What better way to kick off this
summer auctions?
Yeah, our summer auctions. Yeah, so we have two very exciting auctions this weekend. The first one is the Dr. Z Toy and Bank Discovery Sale on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have the Frank Frisella Toy Soldier Discovery Sale. And they're both well-known lifelong collectors. And we were lucky enough to do an interview with Dr. Z, and it features some banks that, you know, we have for sale, but of his collection. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely jump on our YouTube channel and visit Ray and Bree Live and check out that Dr. Z video. We have a series on there that's called Adventures with Ray and Bree. It is not live, it is pre-taped, but it's a great series, so definitely check it out. It
really is. I guess we sold in June Dr. Z still banks primarily and a number of his toys. And then in this cyber toy sale, we're selling the bulk of his sort of mainly still banks, but there's a number of his toys mixed in. And then in October, we're going to do his mechanicals. So that's very exciting.
October 27th, future RSL sale. So for everyone that's excited about that. Also, during the broadcast, please spread the love and click the share button below as you're watching. So we would appreciate it. But with that being said, we're going to start with Cyber Toy Auctions since it's first, and with Dr. Z's items. So this starts this Saturday, the 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern.
One of the themes I like here is toys that would scare the heck out of your children. Bree, look at this. I got you a nice little box. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's so nice, right?
El Diablo!
That is one scary Jack in the Box, but I love this. And of course, most of you would recognize, or if you have grown up with the Jack in the Box, this is a very vintage antique one. This one is lot, I'm looking for it, $4.96 in the auction. As you can see, it is fully functioning, it is in wonderful condition, and it's just really cool. And in looking up a little bit more about Jack in the Box, the first documentation of Jack in the Box was made in Germany, and thought it was pretty interesting, in the early 16th century, and it was a clockmaker made one as a gift for the son of a local prince, and that's really how it started. And most of them, as you know, that they have the pop goes the weasel theme when you would crank the Jack in the Box before they would pop open. There's really no rhyme or reason. There's no documentation as to why that was the song for them.
Well with it.
But it just worked, and it just has that, you know, it has that pop sound or action at the end for that. But the other theory about Jack in the Box was that an Englishman claimed to capture the devil in his boot. And supposedly the reason why they called him Jack was just another word for the devil.
Ooh,
so
scary.
A little scary. A little scary there, but that's
our
Jack in the Box. So lot $4.96. And next we are moving on to a fantastic toy.
It's one of my favorites, one of the first toys that I ever owned.
We love this toy. It's one of my personal favorites. I am biased because it was made in Pittsburgh, which is our hometown. So I love it. And it is the Wolverine Xylitone.
Now, Wolverine was the company. They were based in downtown Pittsburgh, and they made a lot of toys. Probably about 300-400 toys. But I would say this, or there's a submarine, which is by far the most common. They made a Wolverine. It's a blue submarine about 13-14 inches long. But this was a great toy. Again, being from Pittsburgh, it would show up every once in a while. It's a musical toy. It actually has the musical notes on the front here. This one we're lucky enough to actually have the original box for too.
There's 12 notes across the front.
I've never had the original box. Okay, and then the way it works is there's actually different records. So this is a record. Why don't you show that to them? They play different songs.
This one's called The Sidewalks of New York.
And if you look at the back, there's like a series of teeth. Okay, and they basically will direct the xylitone player. I'm going to put on, we have Old Kentucky Home here, Bree. We're going to put an Old Kentucky Home.
I like that.
Load it. There's sort of like guide holes that goes in, and then this swings across and it actually will lock in, and that's seated like that.
Such a cool toy.
There's an on-off switch here.
Gotta wind them up on the right side there.
Isn't that terrific?
That's great. It's great. It's beautiful. It's in beautiful condition. And we have 3 of these that actually, oh, he's still gonna play a little more for us. We have 3 of these that come with it as long as with the original box.
Yeah, it's interesting. This actually is a lot of the packing material, which I haven't seen. And this one states that this xylitone is now packed with 3 records. Extra records can be obtained for 3 for 50 cents.
Yeah, so they were sold in packs of 3 after they released the original one. But online and doing a little bit of research, when they released the original xylitone, it was $2.50. So what you could get for $2.50 back then is just mind-blowing. But it would include 6 discs, and then you could buy the packs of 3 as additions to that following that. But like I said, for this one we have 3, and this one was sold with 3.
Yeah. It's a very complicated mechanism under there. I mean, $2.50, you know, this toy's from the early 50s to late 50s. But I mean, there's a lot of craftsmanship. There's a lot of moving parts.
There are, really.
But it really was one of the first toys I ever got. Bree and I did a flea market this last 2 weeks ago, and the flea market we did was close to the flea market I did as a kid, but this is one of the first toys that I found there and bought. Had it in my collection for a long, long time.
I didn't know that, actually.
Huh?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the flea market. It was fun.
He likes the flea market.
That's
xylitone. We'll turn them off.
Okay,
here.
xylitone, lot 593, once again.
So what are we doing, a clown
We're
motif here?
staying on our clown theme. This is lot 583, and this is the clown and jockey pull toy. This was made in the 1930s. And
look at that. So it's original
what's really
pull
cool
string
about
with
this
the price
one,
tag.
original pull string with its original dollar price tag there.
That was sold at Higbee's in Chicago. Or no, in Cleveland. Higbee's was in Cleveland, Ohio. The interesting toy here, it kind of looks like a Nifty toy, but I'm pretty sure it's American. Nifty was a German manufacturer. If you turn it upside down, it sort of has 2 mechanisms, but the one that rides, so the rear wheels will drive the clown, causing him to ring the bell. The front wheels cause the horses to race. And then again, if you see, there's sort of an elaborate gear mechanism under there. And that's what always amazes me about these toys, Bree. It's just sort of the craftsmanship.
Right.
You know, this is a kid's toy, but I mean, they're very well built. You know, they were meant to last, you know, basically for the life of the child. It wasn't really a disposable toy.
I know.
And even like earlier toys, they were meant to be passed down from generation to generation.
And really what amazes me, I love this toy. I love the clown and the action that it has with the jockeys horse racing around, but also the colors and the cute animals along the side, of course. But what you could get for $1. I mean, you know, you think about what you can get today for $1, and to think in the 1930s that you could get something like this that isn't disposable, that's well made. Obviously, it's made it till today, till 2018, and it's still in such great condition. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, interesting. You're coming up on 100 years old.
Yes. So that is lot 583 once again.
Talk about well-built toys. This baby's as sturdy as they get. This thing weighs about 2.5 pounds. Humpty Dumpty Bank, I think we've shown it, but Dr. Z in particular, we have a lot of mechanicals and still banks in this sale, so too many to really show, but this was made by Shepherd Hardware in the early 1880s. You know, a very big plus to this bank is it retains the original base plate. Very often that will be replaced with a recast version. You can tell the original will always be varnished or shellacked.
Okay.
The reproductions tend to be just black. So if you can show that to the camera, Bree, you can sort of see that sort of that amber type appearance to it.
You can see it right there. It comes right through on the camera when I go like this. You can see what Ray's talking about.
And that's a good indication. Another thing that you look to make sure that base plate's original is the seam around the edge fits fairly tight. Most of the reproductions, they're either usually they're a fair bit smaller, so there's a good bit of gap between them. Because they were just made from a reproduction of an original base plate, so they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah, but all in all, this is a very nice Humpty Dumpty
It's
mechanical
all original,
bank.
that's nice. It's a nice solid, has good color to it. you know, this type of bank now is very affordable. But, you know, if you want an original bank, it's not a reproduction. You go on eBay, you'll see hundreds of reproductions of these. But this is a 100% original Humpty Dumpty bank
And
that, you know, any collector would,
Yeah.
you know, really be happy to have in their collection.
And I really find, you know, like when Ray's talking about the reproductions, just for collectors, just FYI, I find that the face and this flaps around his neck, they are just almost highlighter white. You know, they don't have this type of white look to them when you're looking at them in a photograph online. So I just think, I mean, if you see his face, I mean, I'm holding it here and you can kind of see, he looks white, but he still has that little bit of
a little bit of an umber appearance to it.
Right, right. So, just, you know, food for thought. But so he's our Humpty Dumpty bank, all original, lot 435.
All right. Another toy that will scare the heck out of your child. Look at that. Who lives in a land of 300-foot long ducks?
That is one big duck.
That duck's the size of an elephant.
I mean, that is terrifying. Can you imagine if a duck was actually this big?
Yeah. That's what I love about American Toys, though. They didn't care. They're like, well, let's put a girl riding a duck. Yeah, make the duck nice and big. American-made friction toy. A toy that friction toys, let me show you this. So friction toys, we've said this before, but friction toys usually involve a heavy flywheel. And basically the notion was there's like a gear mechanism that gets that flywheel going. So you could get that really spinning, and spin, 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 and then you put the toy down, and it will go across the floor for a fair bit. This toy, though, in particular, you know, is really sort of interesting in the construction. Converse made a lot of these, but this is made by Schweibel, and it just sort of has a different mechanism in there, how it holds the flywheel in place in the middle there. This toy, actually, you will see it around, but you rarely see it in that nice of condition. It's a toy that, for some reason, when you see it, it's in very poor condition or has been repainted, overpainted. Again, this paint is all original here.
Right.
But, you know, nice. A lot of our collectors, they collect just friction-type toys.
It's a beautiful toy.
Yeah, real nice.
I really like it.
Could
Okay.
be yours.
So this one is lot 270 for our Schweibel friction toy. Fantasy Duck.
Fantasy Duck.
Fantasy Duck. I like that name. Okay.
Hey,
So
let's get
next,
on the
this
Honeymoon
is a fun
Express.
one. I like this one too. This is the Honeymoon Express, as Ray said. This is made by Louis Marks, and it comes with its original box, and it is in full working order. So you would, or I'm gonna bring it really close so you can see. But basically, what you would do is you would turn the key in the middle, and then you swing this little on and off switch to the right.
There it goes. Planes, trains, and
all
automobiles.
around. How awesome is that? So, yeah, very, very cool toy in fantastic condition.
And again, it looks like it's marked Glendale on the side of the building there. So
It
I
does,
guess
yes.
Glendale, California.
Glendale, California.
That works well.
Look at that. Works really well.
Yeah, this
So,
has the original box too with it, doesn't it? Bree?
yes, it has the original box. Can you hold that for 1 second for me, Ray? So, like I said, Louis Marks, and it was 205th Ave, New York City. Even the box is beautiful. Look at the color on that. It just pops off of there. All aboard. I mean, graphics are great. You could see that trademark Marks label with the MAR and the X coming through it. And also, it even has the directions on the back, which are really neat as well. And we found a funny line in here when we were looking at the toy closer. Just gonna read the first sentence of the directions. This toy has been carefully tested in our factory, and if it does not receive excessive abuse or from in transit or from other causes, it will perform perfectly.
That makes total sense. I wonder what kind of toy's not going to get abused.
This one clearly did
'Cause
not.
I think, you know, this kind of looks like it could be a Frisbee too.
Easily, right? Easily.
It's amazing any of these toys survived.
I know.
It really is.
So it's just, you know, food for thought. This one was kept in safekeeping for the box to be this beautiful look. It's shining. You can
Yeah.
see even the shining on the box from back
Yeah,
here.
this is all perfect. And it really is, you know, it's planes, trains, and then automobiles. That's the original theory.
Let me
Honeymoon
flip it forwards
Express.
a little bit. I don't think I did that. I'm trying not to hold the plane, but that's what he's talking about. So you can even see the cars there, and even the top, beautiful condition. Bottom, beautiful as well. It's mint. Mint, mint. Okay.
Very good.
Honeymoon Express, lot 594. Next, we are moving on to these 6 freight cars.
Yeah, we're really trying to sort of diversify our cyber sales. So we have some trains in this sale. We have a lot of automotive toys, banks, celluloid, tin litho, everything. But this is an example of tin litho freight cars, like Carl Bub.
Very cool. As you can see, I'm gonna pull one out of here because I don't wanna hold it up. But this one, it even says Bub on there in the bottom. And of course, you'd recognize the Shell gas station car. And then we have this one that has a little bit of German on there, but it means refrigerated
car.
Refrigerated car.
So again, not an extremely rare set, but just beautiful condition. You know, going to be very affordable. You know, beautiful thing to add to your collection for not a lot of money.
It is. It's a very, very nice little train set. So that one is lot 385. And next we have an Army tricycle. And this one could be a little bit of a crossover piece for the soldier fans out there.
This, I think, is fairly rare. I haven't seen it. Made by CK, Japanese company. I'd love to say it was pre-war Japanese, but this appears to me to be made right after the war. It's probably from the early 50s would be my guess on it.
It's really neat. It's got its key on the side, obviously in working order. You would wind it up there, but it's just in great condition. It has number 1 on the back.
Original license plate back there. So again, I don't know a whole lot about it, but we thought it was interesting to show. We like the camo, so we thought it was a pretty cool piece.
Yeah, we thought it was a really nice piece. I think it's neat. I think you could church it up with even some soldiers even riding in there or some things like that. So
you could.
This is lot 521. Our camo Army car.
We have Vern on there. Hey, Vern.
What's up, Vern? All right, so moving on, lot 377. Oh, we're staying on. We've got a race car.
Yeah, little Hovley race car.
Hovley blue race car.
Yeah, about 8.5 inches long. Again, not exceptionally rare, but it is an unusual color. It's the bigger size, 12-cylinder racer, all original again. Yeah. You know, there is some wear to it. It definitely was played with, but all those wheels are original. You know, I've said this before, but the easiest test on those type of wheels is you squeeze them. If they're rock hard, most likely they're original. The new ones are of a softer rubber. They don't really dry out, or it takes 50 years for them to dry out. So that's a good way to test the wheels.
It's beautiful. Even the underbelly of it. It's in nice condition.
Well, we have a very nice cast iron automotive collection.
We do.
So there'll be a lot of things for people to add to their collection.
So if you're looking, there are some very nice cast iron automotive, not even just this, but you'll jump on liveauctioneers.com and then you'll just search Cyber Toy Auctions and the entire catalog for Saturday will come up. So you'll be able to see everything that we have available. So we just have a little bit of a selection to show you in person today.
Here goes the champion. More staying in the cast iron, the champion motorcycle.
Yeah, this is awesome too.
Yeah, again, for the late 20s, early 30s. Original wheels, very nice condition, larger size. They made there's hundreds of different motorcycle variants. But this is the champion. And, again, nice toy to add to your collection.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so this guy is lot 380.
380. All right, what are we moving on to now?
Okay, now we're moving on. Oh, this is fun. We have some cap guns too.
Yeah.
So we have a nice collection of cap guns as well.
I thought you were a big boy, but we're calling you Big Scout. There's the Big Scout.
We've got Big Scout. This is a single shot cap gun.
So that's a single.
Still in working order.
Okay, and then this is a Buffalo Bill 50 shot. We have the boxes for these two. These two were made by J&E Stevens. So big bank manufacturer. You can show them how Buffalo Bill
Yeah, these are so cool.
That takes a roll of caps.
So this Buffalo Bill one, very cool. Whole roll of caps, as Ray said, whereas the first one I showed would just take a single cap. But you'd put the roll in there and close it up.
Other way.
Close it up. I'm looking reverse in front of me. Close it up. And then you would shoot it that way. But it also has Buffalo Bill on the actual gun there. And then here, I'm trying to get it so you can see it, but you kind of can't. Yeah, there you go. There's a horse with a little ruby diamond on there. So, very cool as well.
They call it a colored, tinted, embossed grip.
Buffalo Bill had a special gun.
Bill. But here's my favorite. This is the Stallion 32.
The Stallion.
Okay, so this is a classic 6-shooter. Again, this was a child's toy. It kind of looks like a pistol to me. And look at this. It even comes with its own cartridges.
So let me show the cartridge before you put it in there.
It comes apart.
Okay, so this is the cartridge that would go in there. Show it to you here. It actually comes apart. You'd put the cap.
Cap goes in the casing. Just like you're loading a regular.
Can't get it flat here.
It'll push it flat.
So we put the cap in there. Put this back on the top.
And then just like loading a 6-shooter.
Put it in there.
You load it in. Oh, hey, there we go. We got it in. You have to close it up. Reach for the sky, partner.
So keep doing it. All right, we're expert cap gun.
There we go. I smell that.
Oh, like the smoke.
I forgot what cap smelled like.
That's really cool, actually. We'll do it again.
Think we've only shot 2.
Darn it.
There's some old
It's out
caps
now.
in there.
It's out.
That was funny.
That was fun. I like that.
Huh. Ooh, there's a dry
There's
fire.
half one.
Whoa!
Why couldn't you do it for me? It's smoking.
I don't know, there's something about kids.
Smells like fireworks.
Kids and guns. I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
I'm just reading the back. There's a lot of verbiage on the back here I thought was actually cool as well. Has the service policy and instructions, and very, very neat. So, those are our cap guns. That was fun. I like those. All right, so that was lot 284. Next. So we have these are lots 305. We have Bill and Hillary Clinton, and so we have a bit of a political bank selection in this auction.
Yeah, we have a lot of banks. Bill and Hillary, Obama.
And this is my favorite. Okay, so this is lot 334.
Big boy.
Big boy. So this is a Bob's Big Boy mold from Bob's Big Boy Hamburgers, of course. And they would make rubber big boys like for the restaurants and for souvenirs and all kinds of different things just out of this mold. It's made out of brass and it's hollow. And even you could see in there, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you could see the little Dr. Z stamp, which I really love right there at the bottom. But it's a mold, so you know it's not going to be absolutely beautiful. It was used to make thousands
Well, yeah,
of big
this would
boys.
be the inside of the mold, really. But I see this is your inspiration for your outfit.
Of course.
You're drawing inspiration from what we're selling.
A little live inspo.
This would actually been mounted like on a big wheel, and there would probably be like 10 or 12 of them. And they'd have like a liquid polymer, and then they would just sort of come through, and it'd sort of gather up the plastic on top and come out and drip dry. And it might go through like, 3 or 4 times like doing a candle type thing. They let it dry, and then they just sort of peel it off like a sock. And then they could paint it and, do whatever they wanted.
And it'd have the traditional white and red big boy look to it. But yeah, we were interested, to find that Big Boy actually originated in Glendale, California. And we go there every year for our show there. And it was a gentleman by the name of Richard Woodruff walked into Bob's Pantry, 2 totally separate Bobs, but when he was 6 years old, and Woodruff walked in and Bob Wyan of Bob's Pantry was trying to name his new hamburger. And he yelled over to Woodruff, "Hey, Big Boy!" And it really just stuck. and it, you know, began in 1936 and went from there. And we haven't had one in Pittsburgh for quite some time. So, I mean, I remember going there growing up, and they used to have these little comic books and things that they would hand out to kids when you'd walk in, and it was something for you to read or to keep the kids entertained years ago. But there are still 77 in the U.S., but they're no longer headquartered in California. They're headquartered in Detroit, so Michigan, you'll find most of them. But I was very surprised to find that there are 279 big boys in Japan.
Really?
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
279. We gotta
So,
go to Japan to get our
gotta
big
go
boy.
to Japan or Michigan
One of the two.
to go back and get our big boy hamburger. It's been quite a while since I've had one.
That'd be good.
But that's the story of Big Boy. So that's the last thought we had for Cyber Toys today, but auction begins this Saturday, July 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And now, but yeah.
600 and some lots, right?
600, yes, over 600 lots. So once again, you can find it on Live Auctioneers. Just search for Cyber Toy Auctions, but there are big selection, big selection. This is just a little snippet, but okay. Now,
moving on to Old Toy Soldier auctions.
yeah, we're going to talk about
Frank Frisella Discovery Sale. Frank Frisella was an old-time collector from California. He really was one of the pioneers, sort of lived in the Bay Area, sort of knew a lot of the early collectors on the West Coast. They sort of would meet, I think, once a month at a local restaurant and sort of talk toy soldiers, and that was sort of the, you know, he was sort of one of the people that helped found the basis for the whole West Coast soldier collectors that we know today. So it's an important collection, sort of all over the board, from very early, our cover lot, which we're going to show you now,
Yes.
to a lot of great plastic toy soldiers. You know, he really, really had a nice eye and sort of had some great soldiers. So our first lot that we want to talk about.
Yeah, this is, like we said, it's our cover lot. It was made by Heidi. It's German, and they are very rare.
This was my inspiration for Grumpy.
This is Ray's inspo for this broadcast, but we have this Snow White vignette, and this is Snow White, obviously being carried in her glass casket by some gentlemen. And what I found really was interesting about this,
piece, just so you know.
yes, that is a separate piece, was I did not recall in the original Disney version of Snow White being carried by men, because I just remembered the prince coming and she was laying down in bed and giving her a kiss and she woke up and it was fine. But in the original version of Snow White by the Brothers Grimm, which is what this was mocked after in 1910, Snow White actually was sitting in her glass casket, and the prince was coming through the woods and he stumbled upon her, and the dwarfs were sitting around, and he convinced them to give Snow White to him because he was madly in love with her at first sight. And he had his servants pick the casket up, and as they were carrying it down the hill, one of them tripped in front, and the apple that she had eaten that poisoned her actually came out dislodged from her throat, and she woke up.
She woke up.
Yeah, so there's a difference in
great.
stories. Disney's
love the
obviously Disneyed it up and churched it up, and that's just, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, and then here's the little prince, the prince coming. So we have that vignette,
Yeah.
which that, if you look in Tony Bourget's Heidi Hunters, that's one piece that he didn't have in the whole set. So there's a good picture of it in the Heidi Hunters that sort of shows the whole set. But we have these two vignettes, and then one of my favorite pieces. Here's the witch with the apple,
I know.
the poison apple.
Yes.
You gotta watch out for witches with poison apples.
She's a poison apple, and she even actually has some feet under there.
Yeah, really interesting.
So very interesting.
So super rare set. I've never owned a complete set. I've had pieces of it, just like we're having right now. But I think this is going to do really well. One of the highlights of the sale.
Yes.
So that should be a good one.
Very good. Like I said, about $337. Next, we're moving on to a couple Britain sets.
Yeah, we have a lot of Britons in the sale. Both partial sets, box sets, big groupings of figures, pre-war, post-war. You know, you sort of name it. You know, we have quite a bit.
So, but this one is lot 188. It is set 193, Arabs of the Desert, and it's in very nice condition. It comes with its original box.
Has the original box. The top's pretty nice. The bottom has quite a bit of wear to it, but yeah, it's a nice set. 6 pieces, large scale Arab, early paint, early pre-war paint. You know, real nice addition. And there's a lot of Britons in this sale like that.
Yeah,
I think they should
I
do
mean,
pretty
all the
well.
camels, there's different colors. There's a red one, there's green, there's blue. It's just, it's a very, very nice set.
That it is.
Did I show this one? There's the green one. Love that. Okay, so
Okay.
next we have Britain set 2110. This is, or no, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
I'm lying. This is 1632, the Royal Canadian Regiment.
Now there's a lot of Canadian regiments. This is a very difficult one to get. They have the white Wolseley helmet with a red stripe around it. As compared to Princess Patricia's light infantry, which is basically a white helmet with a blue band around it. The only set that's rare is Lord Strathcona's horse. You don't see this set too often. It's a nice companion piece to Princess Patricia's, which you see all the time. That's very, very common.
Yeah, beautiful. Tie card's in great condition. Box is in beautiful condition. Here, let me show the end label too. So here's the top of the box there.
Yeah, nice,
Very nice.
clean example.
Very, very nice. Okay, so once again, that was lot 210. Now we're moving on to lot 230.
Okay, the Yellow Jacket
This
band.
one is 2110.
The U.S. band. They call it U.S. Army band, but
Yes.
generally we call it the Yellow Jacket band. Very famous. One of the things I like about this band, it was only made post-war, so it's sort of no matter whether you like pre-war or post-war, if you want some of the greatest Britain sets ever made, you gotta own this one. This is an interesting band because it was an actual uniform that I believe was produced during Nixon's term in office, and the first time they wore it out, a lot of the generals are like, well, you know, yellow's the color for someone that you know, isn't very steady in a foxhole. So that was the only time they actually wore the uniform in public.
Huh.
And they got rid of them. But they made a
Really
band, so
interesting.
it's always been preserved forever as a band.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, originally tied. This has never been
Yeah.
out of the box.
25 pieces.
Original tie on that.
Original tie.
Late 50s, probably 1958, somewhere around
Let
there.
me show you the top of the box. That's what I was lifting it out
Oh.
here.
Their own label.
Yep, own label, but beautiful box. That's showing the top there. Nice end label. U.S. Army band, like we said, 2110. So, and those were our. Oh, we have one more Britain set here.
What's our next one?
This one is the farm set.
Oh, the Clockwork set here. So this is the box. Oh, neat set.
Yeah.
The Britain's Clockwork set. So 3 pieces. Has the Fordson tractor in here with the driver.
Love this label. The green and the yellow. So cool. So, Clockwork
Okay.
set.
So you have the tractor, and then the propeller is actually this Clockwork trailer. This has the spring mechanism in it that you would wind up and it would push the whole all 3 pieces together. So you have the trailer and the cart. And they would all hook together and go down. I think a very colorful set, very pretty
Yeah,
set.
it is
You
very
sort of,
pretty.
you feel like you're getting a lot for your money
You
in
do.
this set.
It's very.
And
It's
everything's
you know,
very substantial.
It is. I love this mint green too on this one. This one, and then
The cart.
yeah, the cart. So also a absolutely beautiful set, number 137F, and that is lot 250. It
Oh, yeah.
even comes
We got the key in there.
with
some
the
instructions.
key. So this is the original key in here. Take it out for you. You can take a look. Yeah, so that's the original key, and then it came with the instructions on how to hook it together, how to wind it and everything there. So, very cool. It's in excellent, excellent condition. And, yeah, it measures 13¼ inches long, it says, on the box here, which definitely, it seems, bigger than that.
Yeah.
That's probably about right. So,
All
all
right.
right, so that was that set. Next, we have a very rare dime store pitcher. And this is lot 134. I found this to be very interesting personally because it's a little small for dime stores that you typically see.
Barclay, they made a set of baseball figures. So this is the pitcher. They made outfielders and a batter. No umpire that I don't think anyone knows of. But I have had full sets of these before. We believe they were sold individually. No one I know has ever heard of a box set of them.
Yeah.
This one's in beautiful condition. I haven't had any in a long time. But you know, it does make a very nice set. They are a smaller scale. We call them, so they are part of what we call the early Barclay series. So these are probably, you know, mid-20s, mid-20s to early 30s at the latest. Probably like 1928, 1929 on this figure. But, you know, painted with the eyes and everything.
It is. There's
great
eyes.
Piece of early baseball Americana.
You know, even I mean, you can see the mitt, obviously, in the shoes, and he's got a nice white and blue uniform on. So, very, very nice. He was lot 134.
And we do have some connoisseur figures in this sale. So we have some Greenwood and Ball, very nice grouping of Greenwood and Ball. And then we have a couple Bellata.
Yes.
So I wanted to show this, a Bellata. Bellata is a French manufacturer made in the 1950s.
Look at the detailing on that. The plume is spiked.
Yeah, and actually that's what I was going to point out, Bree. That, to me, is one of the easiest ways to determine if it's a Bellata or not. He had very distinctive plumes. They're very spiky, perfect word for them. And that's almost always a dead giveaway for a Bellata piece. The other thing is the base. The base is octagonal, sort of in a, it's like a stretched
So he does
octagon.
come off, so I'm going to lift him off so that I don't, when I show you the base. But this is,
It's
so
a
it is.
straight, it's like a stretched octagon. So that's a good indication. Another company called Purdue sort of did a similar base to that. So that can be a little tricky, but that plume's always a very good tip. Bellata's very, very collectible. They made beautiful figures.
He's a really neat figure.
They're known, he made a lot of very nice bands, like large bands. So it's very collectible. They don't quite reach the range of Purdue or Desfontaine.
What do you think?
Well, I think just the detailing, the way the faces are painted, they're nice, but he's not quite at that ultimate master level. It's a little bit toy soldier-like still, instead of, you know, a very precise model. But if you look at the detailing,
yeah. Even with that being said, you know, and it is still very much more detailed than a typical figure that you would see.
Yeah,
you can even
it's a connoisseur figure.
You know, on here you can see his eyebrows and his eyes, and he's even has red lips and a mustache. I mean, I can see it all crystal clear. So. And even on his little pouch on the back there, there's a little eagle insignia. So there's a lot of detail on there. But yeah, so that Bellata figure is lot 333.
Okay. Now we mentioned we have a lot of plastic in this sale.
We do.
Some that I've never seen and a couple that have shocked us. So this is part of the Herald line, 1950s.
Very cool label. Love this label. Look at that.
Again, as sort of plastic became more mainstream, it was harder to compete with lead figures. There were other manufacturers producing plastic figures. Lead was just more expensive material, more expensive to actually manufacture the figure, more expensive to ship in particular. Plastic a lot lighter. So Britain started a Herald line in the late 50s. This set's probably from around 1960 or so, 64. But I love a lot of the Herald designs on the labels. You know, they moved more away from like the actual war, made it much more comical, sort of more what I remember when I was a child. But you know, nice figures. Again, they took a plastic figure and then hand painted them.
Yep. So this is lot 287.
So they were trying to sort of maintain a high quality figure, but producing it out of plastic.
Very cool.
So this is a Herald set number 7599. And I am seeing a trend, Bree, especially like in this sale. A lot of sort of my collectors that have sort of bought every lead Britain's figure there is, a lot of them are starting to turn to their plastic range because they sort of want everything that Britain's ever produced.
Yes.
You know, so again, here we are with set number 7,599. Yep. Britain's produced a lot of sets, but you know, they seem like it's sort of, again, my generation, this is what we grew up with. So
right.
in some ways I relate more to this than I do some of the sets from like the 30s and 40s.
Because you remember, right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yep. So this one was $287, as we said, and this one's very awesome.
All right, and this one's gonna shock everyone. It shocked the heck out of us. Bids have been pouring in for this. Okay, I've never had it before. It's a Herald set. Okay, it's the Cavaliers and the Roundheads. This is for the English Civil War, and it's Herald set number 7402. Yeah, the bids literally just keep pouring in for it. It's just sort of very interesting. English Civil War, 1641 to 1649. The Cavaliers actually were the supporters of Charles I. They wanted to keep the absolute monarchy in England. The Roundheads were sort of more of a derogatory name given to a lot of the Puritans and Protestants that were fighting against the Cavaliers. They sort of got their name because not all, but some Protestants would sort of wear that bowl cut, and that's where they got the Roundheads from. So the Cavaliers, they sort of got their nickname from the Spanish Caballeros, who sort of the same way they liked the monarchy. They sort of embraced the term. They're like, we're Cavaliers. The Roundheads are like, I don't want to be a Roundhead. But yeah, the rest was history. Oliver Cromwell sort of outmaneuvered them, in Parliament, and that was sort of the end of the monarchy as they knew it. But great set. It's a soft rubber. My guess on this is it's probably right around 1970 would be when that was produced. But let me tell you what, guys, it's going to rival Snow White for what's going to be the top lot. Snow White will probably still win, but this is going to be very close behind.
It's so neat, though. I mean, the box itself is really cool. It looks like each individual figure have these ornate frames around them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, a lot has to do with that box. It's really, really, really neat box. As Ray said, number 7402.
7402.
Condition's beautiful on it. I was just trying to see there's some literature on the back here.
That basically tells the story.
Yep, but it's just the story of all of that. So, looking for this one, very popular lot in this collection. It is lot 265. And we do have one more that's hidden over here. Right? I really like these ones too. They're pretty neat. They're detail.
Yeah, detail's another. So the Herald line was first, but then detail came out late 60s, early 70s, maybe 72, something like that. Again, a plastic figure meant to sort of compete, with the other plastic figures out there.
Like, how cool. They came in these little packs. And
again, a lot of the early Britain's guys are starting to turn to these to sort of round out their collection. These are little
karate figures here. Little kung fu figures. And we've got some combat weapons and warriors here. But they're all very cool. So this was a lot of 4 of them. And this one was 262, but also in beautiful condition. Yeah. Very, very cool. Neat things. So many soldiers and toys.
That was a lot of things we went through there. That's for sure.
That was a lot. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and please share the love, spread the love of that we're
make sure you share
out tonight. Share our video, but we hope you can join us this weekend for both the Dr. Z Toy and Bank Discovery Sale as well as the Frank Frisella Toy Soldier Discovery Sale. They both start at 10 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday. East Coast time. And if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Ray and Bree Live, you definitely should jump on there. I don't know if we said it earlier, but this is our 37th episode. Woo! And we also have a new Adventures with Ray and Bree show coming up for anyone that was at the Still Bank Convention in Marietta, Ohio, a little bit ago. So we're working on that. That'll be out soon. Also, the next issue of Old Toy Soldier magazine is in the works. If you are not a subscriber, you should go to oldtoysoldier.com and subscribe. It'll be coming out in August. And our next show that we will be physically attending is the Chicago Toy Soldier Show, and we're really excited about that.
We're talking to a lot of the guys already. They're looking forward to it. It's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. It's at the end of September. We will be at the Hyatt in Schaumburg, Illinois for about a week. So we look forward to seeing everyone there, and we have a lot of exciting things planned for that as well. And stay tuned for Dr. Z's Mechanical Bank RSL sale on October 27th. And the next Cyber and Old Toy Soldier sales we have more sales come in the fall, but just jump on our website, raytoys.com, or just check out
keep you
Facebook.
posted. We're
and
scheduling them all in right now.
So we'll send all kinds of updates with that, but happy collecting, and thank you for watching.
Okay, yeah. We got all our little peppers
All right, we
back
were
here.
in the midst of a pepper farm, thanks to Ray's wife, Nancy. They're delicious, by the way. And we're gonna cheers, and we hope everyone has a spicy summer.
Are you going to eat yours?
I want to take a bite.
You know what this is called?
What?
Inferno.
Take my chances.
I'll bite it if you bite it.
All right.
Happy collecting, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the summer, everyone. Thanks for watching. Oh! You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Oh my god.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I think I'm okay. Oh, all right. Guess I better